Welcome back to New Rockstars. Loki is unleashing the God of Mischief to run amok throughout the MCU history and possibly rewrite the whole timeline from scratch. Are we about to see a true time heist to which Endgame was merely the overture? I'm Erik Voss. This is Rogue Theory. Going rogue with me today is Marina Mastros. Hey, Marina.
Hi, Erik. I love the way you said that at the end. You turned into a puppet.
I accidentally was channeling Moira Rose because I've been watching
I love her.
David. Jesus, just
David.
We also got with us off-screen and increasingly on-screen producer Zach Huddleston.
Yay!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
I never seen a Schitt's Creek episode, so I can only infer what your reference is.
You're missing out. It's so good. We're also thrilled to welcome to the show TV writer, comedian, and host of the We Have to Stop Talking TMNT on CBB podcast, Shaun Diston. Hey, man.
Well, hello. I'm so excited to be here. Such a fan of New Rockstars. I'm with the Holy Trinity minus Philip Molina. I'm very excited to be here. I'm with Grogu. Grogu, do you like Schitt's Creek? Wait, Grogu.
Yes! Oh my God.
Grogu, no. Grogu's been misbehaving, but I guess Grogu doesn't like Schitt's Creek. Hi, guys. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay, Shaun!
Grogu is a Parks and Rec guy, I feel like.
He loves the mugging to camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs a mockumentary format.
Should be a mockumentary.
I'm so happy to have the three of you with me as this is the first episode of the new season of Rogue Theory. It's a new year, new season. And as we start season 2, we are going to take some inspiration from the God of Mischief and mix it up a little today. We are going to burn down the stiff formalities of the past and just engage in the nerdy group rabbit hole plunge that we would be having before and after the cameras roll. But as I do...
I'm pissed. I still want Sparkle Bucks. Do you understand?
Well... So good of you to mention that, Shaun, because as I do in every other conversation in my life, I will still be mentally awarding and subtracting points.
It's just a conversation, but there will be winners and losers.
Yes, Erik will be looking down and marking a sheet and then looking back up at you like...
I always carry around a little notepad of graph paper everywhere I go, and I'm just writing numbers down. People are like, oh, he's a charmer. Let's invite him back.
Good Easter egg, Marina.
Check.
Well, as we all look ahead to this new year in Marvel, Loki really seems like the bonkers rule breaker that is custom designed for us. I am still trying to wrap my head around this recent trailer, guys. Beyond the real world mysteries that the show is trying to tie into, like D.B. Cooper, there are confirmed shots of Loki replaying the Avengers 2012 events. Not just in the footage from Endgame, he is back at the top of Stark Tower, ready to roll. And I feel like, this is spring 2019 again. We're back analyzing Endgame trailers for clues about how the time heist would work. But this time, the time heist is being run not by a group of lame Boy Scouts trying to keep the timeline intact, but by a madman who wants to burn everything down. So I want...
What happens when your time heist goes bad, baby?
Right? Yes! Let's all dive into this together. How is Loki going to rewrite the MCU timeline in ways that Endgame stops short of? Is this going to be like an Elseworld MCU darkest timeline that is unaffected from the main timeline? Is Loki going to undo any of the elements of the Endgame time heist itself? Since Loki's arrest by the TVA occurs right after his escape from the 2012 Battle of New York, let's start there. How do you guys think Loki might do things differently this time?
So it's interesting. Like, I see in the trailer, he has the scepter and he's looking in that mirror.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's sort of like back in his, and I don't know how time travel is working, if it's going to be like Loki himself is traveling or if his mind is traveling into...
I thought you were going to, Shaun, be like, I don't know how time travel works exactly.
Like, a lot of my notes are, okay, some of this could be conflicting. Inverted Mobius strip.
According to my math.
I do think that sort of would be the first place he goes, because like his first memory is like, I just lost the Battle of New York. And what I was thinking about the other day was like, his sort of rivalry with the Hulk almost. And like how through like Ragnarok, he was like, I hate that guy. And like, he has this thing. I mean, he just literally was smashed by the Hulk. He gets the Tesseract and now he's like master of time travel. And part of what I think he might try is after failing to right the wrongs at the Battle of New York, maybe he goes back further and they revisit the Hulk's origin story, which we don't actually have a good version of in Marvel, right? They skip over it, I kind of feel like, in the Ed Norton movie. I was like, what if you do the thing of like, what if you kill Hitler before he's born? What if he tries to stop Banner from becoming Hulk?
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Right? And that like led me down this because in the trailer, there's that huge... like he's in Central Park or something and it looks like Avengers Tower is destroyed.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, what if instead of the Chitauri destroying New York, what if Thaddeus Ross Red Hulk is created instead of the Hulk and then goes through the timeline as an Avenger with the Avengers as Red Hulk?
What?
And then like after Ultron, instead of them like being like, hey, you know, or instead of like Natasha being like, go be a hero, he doesn't have that. So like after Ultron, you get Iron Man be like, go, you got to get off of Earth. And you get the like Planet Hulk like Planet Hulk, like World Breaker Hulk story.
Yeah.
And in my head, I was like, is that Red Hulk returned from Sakaar to destroy Earth because he was banished after Ultron? And I was like, that's what's cool about this show is they could do all of that in like, here's what would happen if you did that. And it's just a series of clips and you don't have to do like a full episode or an arc with it. It's like, if you stop Banner from being created, then you unleash the Red Hulk on everyone. And like, I think what's cool about the show is you can have these really crazy things happen while like Luke Wilson or whatever, Owen Wilson is just like showing him on a screen what would happen.
He just shows it to him and he's like, well,
that's probably not a good idea.
You could do that, bud. Wow, that's New York's destroyed.
wow.
Because I think if you're playing in the TVA, you got to play in these worlds of like, if you do this thing, then 1,000 other bad things can happen.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know,
Shaun, you bring up a good point. I mean, I kind of overlooked this in the Loki trailer, but the way New York was destroyed in that shot is super weird. That doesn't look like a Chitauri.
Yes. Yeah.
There's no Chitauri like big warships. There's no evidence of that. To me, I was like, is this like Red Hulk slapping his hands together and like destroying all of New York? Yeah.
And back in the MCU.
And honestly, I know that like you love Red Hulk, and I wanted to bring you a sort of way to get Thaddeus Ross in there. Because you may not get a real Red Hulk, but if you can get this like alternate timeline peek at what it would be like, and then throw Red Hulk in the like Planet Hulk story or something, he comes back with like Korg Meek and destroys Earth.
Yeah.
Like that would be the craziest thing you could see in a Loki show, I think.
I love that, Shaun, and I feel like that might, tie into why Loki needs to run for president. I mean, we see that in Loki for president thing where he's like, well, look, Thaddeus Ross was going to be Secretary of State near the White House. Like, now I need to restore the political order in this country.
It's in a world with no Sokovia Accords and no Thaddeus, I think that's really interesting because I was wondering too. I'm like, how does he run for president? Yeah. What exactly is that?
Yes. Yeah. I love that too, if that's why he has to run for president, because like we're assuming, like the power levels of Loki as a character kind of vary movie to movie or whatever. But probably here he's going to be like a relatively depowered version, I assume, as he's hopping around, and maybe not like full God mode. And he's kind of just using his powers of like persuasion and kind of general like, mental manipulation, which, I mean, how great for politics, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Kind of worm tonguing his way into national politics is like such a fun move for that character.
I mean, if things are going to be different in this timeline, you guys can tell me if this is stupid or not. Just start yelling the word stupid at me. It's like, if, let's say he goes back and changes it, or let's say in this version, they lose the Battle of New York, right? You could make an argument that the planet aligns and there aren't any nations anymore because they're like, oh, we have this outer planetary, like, why the f*** would we have countries when we have aliens? So what if he's like not running for president of the United States? It's like, there's a president of the world now. So now he's like,
what's the Starship Troopers? There's just like the Federation.
yeah, and he's like, I want to run for that, which is like, because like, why would Loki want to be the president of the United States? It's like too small for him. But being president of the world is he'd be like, he didn't make a button for that.
Yeah. That's also, I love that too. It's basically co-opting like the Watchmen plot.
Yeah.
You know, that there's an alien unites humanity, which, hey, Marvel does not own the Watchmen rights. So it's a nice way for them to.
Yeah.
It would be one of those really interesting things, like to see he won the Battle of New York and then there was a utopia, like instead of the Endgame story happening. It's like, well, actually, after that, Iron Man did kind of calm down with a lot of his futurism. And, like,
really.
Well, what I love is like, so there's like two sides to this, right? There's what his mission is under the TVA. The TVA has arrested him. It looks like they need him for something. And then there's like what Loki will probably do to subvert that mission, right? If you think like Paul Walker in The Fast and the Furious, he had a mission, he subverted the mission, and then like basic storytelling rules are his attempt to subvert it is going to get foiled in some way that blows up in his face. So, like, I'm dying to know what each of these three things are. Like, what's the initial goal, the side goal, and then the goal that, like, he presents itself?
Well, I have an idea on that note, Eric, right? I think it's interesting that the Tesseract is the Space Stone, not the Time Stone.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so it's like, in theory, it's not a time travel-y Infinity Stone, right? It's supposed to be able to, like, go different places. Or possibly, right, like different multiverse realities, right? And so what if he's not actually traveling back and forth in time, but just like hopping between these like different realities? And like the TVA has like a to-do list of like, you got to head to this reality and fix this thing, and then like head over here because then this went wrong or whatever.
It's like a week-to-week episodic of like, we got a problem in this reality, Loki.
It's Quantum Leap.
That's fun.
And like only by like, you know, whatever, checking the 19 boxes or however many episodes there's gonna be, right, will they drop him back into his reality?
Yeah.
The question of why it's the Space Stone is so interesting to me. And like what I sort of was thinking was possibly maybe the TVA pulls Loki out of a timeline. You know, like he created a branch timeline when he moved off with the Space Stone. So instead of like giving him the Space Stone to go like conquer Earth with the Space Stone, the TVA pulls him out of the timeline being like, look, you're kind of a vestigial thing of the Avengers meddling with time, but we need that to happen. Like we need Endgame to happen. So what if we pulled you out of the timeline and you just worked for us? You became a TVA agent. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, going on these missions with them, learning the secrets of time travel, Loki says, hey, you know what? I'm Loki. So I'm going to like actually take this elevator where I want. And I think that's where you see him in that like weird arcade where it's like, okay, I've gotten, it's almost like he's gone a little too far with the power that he's been given by the TVA, you know?
Yeah.
And in that way, he creates a huge mess that I guess he has to clean up by the end of the series or something.
Yeah, what I'm hoping is like maybe his mission, the TVA is like, those Avengers here are friends with these, like they're not my friends. And they're like, yeah, okay. They screwed up the timeline with this time heist of theirs. They weren't supposed to do that. Thanos was supposed to win. So we need you to go in there, because you were there, and undo their little time heist. You're going to see two different Tony Starks. One's going to be dressed up in SWAT gear. We need you to take them out. You know, there's gonna be two Caps. Just go with it. And then Loki gets there and he's like, no, I would love, because you guys might know this about me. I loved Avengers Endgame. I think the time heist could have been so much more. It could have been crazier. And really, they just kind of dealt with it like an A to B kind of thing. And I think Loki could be like the layer under the layer of madness there, of like revisiting that. And then what you said, Shaun, I think he discovers his own kind of plan. He's like, I could be president. I could do whatever the hell I want. But like, obviously, there is some kind of insanity with like Sophia DiMartino's character as like a Lady Loki. Like maybe that's his doppelganger that he has to kind of try to stop, you know, to set the universe back in order.
Yeah, like he instead of having to do episodic stuff, right, of like in this one you have to go to this Western town in the old West or whatever and like save a saloon. You have to save it, by the way, not
Spray it?
Not just like do,
Oh.
yeah, yeah, save it, not spray it. He has an overarching mission as opposed to like singular things. And he could spend an entire season chasing himself, right? Himself in female form or whatever.
Yeah, and I think with an overarching mission, it gives him the like, I'm gonna go do my side thing, which is really where the chaos of the show is.
Right.
Like when I've been thinking about that DB Cooper thing so much because I'm like, is he being DB Cooper because he knew from history that he existed and he's taking his place? Or did DB Cooper always happen as Loki? Like there's so many weird, chaotic things to think of with that.
I love the idea of like, because he's like a time cop or whatever, basically, right? And so they have to be super.
He's the new Van Damme in Time.
That's right. He can do full splits all day long. But because of that, right, these time cops are extra concerned with not screwing anything up, not leaving a timeline like worse than you found it, like no kind of butterfly effect type stuff.
Yeah.
So like, what if he always has to arrive as somebody who's going to disappear? Because then it will make sense when it just zaps away.
That's cool.
Right? Like he has to be Amelia Earhart or DB Cooper or Jimmy Hoffa.
You know, I did write down
in
my notes somewhere, I was like, it'd be fun if Amelia Earhart was a TVA agent or something. Like it could be that's really interesting.
That's so cool. Oh no, he was Jack the Ripper.
I know.
Because like when you think about it, like they don't want like the stewardess that's on that plane that he's on, right? When he disappears into the ether because the Tesseract let him zap away, that woman's life is going to be ruined, right? She's going to be like, where'd this man go?
Yeah.
Unless it can be explained like, oh, he had a parachute, he jumped out, and nobody ever saw him ever again, right?
Yeah. Zach, oh my God.
That's so cool.
This whole idea of like making it a this always happened version of time travel where it's like, well, obviously in our existence, Amelia Earhart, DB Cooper, those are mysteries. But like to use Loki to plug in each of those holes is
that's so cool.
I mean, it would completely contradict the branch theory of time travel that Endgame tried to do, but who cares?
It could also be a way. It could be a way for Loki to hide his tracks. Like, if he assumes the identity of someone who goes missing, how much can he really affect the timeline?
Yeah.
So it's like whatever he does right before the DB Cooper thing might have been the actual important mission he was on.
Right.
And then the DB Cooper thing is like a cover to disappear.
Oh my goodness.
He just like pushes the real DB Cooper out of the plane and he's dies.
Like, sorry, buddy. You know, Eric, and you also mentioned the like Avengers Tower like sequence. I feel like it could be one of those like Russian doll things where you see like 5 versions of it, where it's Loki trying to figure out new ways to like subvert what happened. And ultimately, I don't know how it would work, but it'd be a really interesting cathartic ending if like Loki, the only way Loki realizes that like things can go back to normal is if this Loki doesn't exist. Yeah. So he goes to like the Hulk or the Iron Man and he's like, don't have him take the stairs.
Yeah.
Trust me, like something bad will happen. And that's like the final like sort of domino that he pushes to make it so that he never existed and disappears or something.
Oh, that's cool.
Well,
yeah.
On that same note, Shaun, like I love that idea, and that feels like one thing I like about when this series is set for this character, right, is that this is like it's not like a prequel or a sequel; it's like a weird middle quill, right? Like, because like this is technically the Loki who's going to be in this series is still the like villain Loki, right, from the first Avengers and the first Thor movie, and he hasn't kind of had this nice character arc that we got in like Ragnarok and like Infinity War and whatever, right? Where he's kind of like become a more like anti-hero, like nuanced guy who kind of cares about his brother or whatever. And so like this show could also be like the bridge between those two guys, right? We could get to see him like learn a little empathy and like, you know, kind of become a little bit more well-rounded character. And maybe that's like through like slamming his head against all these weird time travel, you know, machinations, he has to kind of come to these realizations on his own.
Going off of that, this is like the sadder version. Is like because you're right, he is like still a dick, right? Like he's like a dick now or before, whatever. He's still a dick, guys. He's a dick. The main point, he sucks. No, because so like he hasn't learned his lessons. He doesn't care about his brother. He doesn't care about anybody except for his mom.
Oh yeah,
That's his only person that he gives a shit about. So if he learns that he loses, right, and that the Avengers win, and that eventually he died, like they show him getting killed by Thanos, and he's like, that shit. This is so sad. But like, while he's doing his adventures, or like while he's doing like the things that he's supposed to be doing for the TVA, the only thing that I can think that emotionally makes sense for him is that he tries to go save his mom and like change something so that she doesn't actually die. And when Thor tries to do that, she brushes him off. Like she like is wise, and you can tell that she kind of is like, just don't tell me about it. Like whatever is supposed to be will be. But she tries to do that with Loki, but he's Loki. So he's like, no, that. Like I decided you're going to live. And he up the entire timeline because he doesn't tell anybody that he saves his mom. And it just completely ruins everything. And again, this is like over the course that I still have like bronchitis kind of. This like, sorry. This like over the course of the entire series. So like maybe he does save her, and maybe he like gets to secretly hang out with her. And then at the very end of the series is like, yeah, he comes to the same emotional realization that you said, Zach, except this time he has to just let his mom die.
Yeah.
Because like
Marina, that's so great, because that's sort of Erik's thing of like, you're doing Endgame again. You get to see a scene from Endgame where Thor's talking to his mom, and then she walks away and walks right into Loki. Like that feels like the Back to the Future 2 of this time heist.
I mean, imagine that. Imagine like in Endgame, you have that moment where Loki's flipping his cup in the air in his prison cell. Thor sneaks past, and then right after Thor, it's like the second black cat in the Matrix. Loki's just like, sneaking past too.
Hey, buddy, I'll see you.
But to save his mom, that would be so cool. It'd be, it's exactly what we kind of wanted to see happen in that moment. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see all kinds of that. I want to see like, the TVA elevator. I want to see those elevator doors open, and it's Sitwell and it's Stillwell and Brock Rumlow right after Cap said Hail Hydra, and then Loki just steps into the elevator, and they're like, how the hell did you get out of it? He's like, it's a long story.
Truly, it's like you have to go back, and it's like, okay, every single person in Endgame is also in Loki. It's a 58 person cast. Loki's at the battle, and he's just kind of like, okay, I'm creeping around.
Yeah. I honestly, they might not get all these actors, obviously, but they have archive footage.
Yeah.
They shot these scenes from
Exactly.
every angle. They can just drag and drop them in.
They can force Gump him into anything. Right? Like just do a little
Marina, one thing that you mentioned, like him sort of sacrificing himself for his mother or whatever, or like
whatever happened,
or saving his mom. Like I don't know how much Loki has used his like I can be anyone power.
Yeah.
Like you see him be Captain America like in that Avengers Tower moment, right? So it's like theoretically this Loki can sort of shapeshift or pretend to be anyone, and I don't know how much we're like thinking like there's a version where he pretends to be his mom and gets killed in her place or something. Or there's a version where or there's a version where like we're talking about him as Quantum Leap. Like we could be seeing Loki, but he could be DB Cooper. He could be these other people, but just impersonating them because you know he has that power.
Yeah, that's true. This is, Erik, you said darkest timeline, but we just actually meant emotionally darkest timeline.
It's really cloudy in this timeline.
It's the saddest time.
All right. Well, my graph paper notebook has come up with some points that I need to award.
All right. Thank God.
I don't have Sparkle Bucks this season. I have some yummy gummies that are my favorite gummies.
Oh, great.
John, you're going to get a little gummy lobster for your Red Hulk theory.
Cute.
And for Loki quantum leaping as his mother, you're going to get a little yellow seahorse. Zach
eating it up.
Came up with this amazing idea of Loki having already been all these mystery figures through history that seems to make it all make sense in a way. So you're getting my favorite one of these, the little gold orange flounder, clownfish. I don't know.
And this is a CBD gummy.
No. Well, maybe that's why they.
Wait, I just ate 5 of them.
Yeah.
And Marina, you're going to get a little blue fishy.
Yay! Oh, guess what? On this side, it turned into Doritos.
Oh, that's not how this works. Guys, this is such a fun way to do this. I feel like I definitely got way more out of this than having us just read these semi-scripted theory pitches one at a time. But to all of you watching, let me know if you like this better. Twitter at EA Voss is the best way to reach me, or on our Discord server. It is open to all channel patrons. Patreon.com/New Rockstars. Let us know. We want to hear from you as we blaze ahead in 2021. We're going to go rogue about some new cinematic universes because we can't just stay within the borders of the MCU. But first, I want to thank some friends who helped us make this episode, starting with our friends at Helix Sleep. I have been losing sleep trying to guess the plot of the Loki series, but I have not been losing sleep because of a bad mattress. I have got a personalized mattress from the wonderful folks at Helix Sleep. They shipped it straight to my door with free no-contact delivery, free returns, and a 100-night sleep trial. Helix made a quiz that takes just 2 minutes to complete and matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. I took the quiz and I was matched with the Dusk Lux Helix mattress because I wanted a medium firm mattress with lumbar support. I love Helix, but you don't need to take my word for it. Helix was awarded the #1 best overall mattress pick of 2020 by GQ, Wired Magazine, and Apartment Therapy. Just go to helixsleep.com/rogue theory, take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they will match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. They have a 10-year warranty, and you get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. They even pick it up for you if you don't love it, but you will love it. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattresses and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/rogue theory. We also want to thank our friends at ExpressVPN. So, newsflash, folks, you cannot watch Rick and Morty, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or Star Trek Discovery on American Netflix. But I have watched them on other countries' Netflixes, and you can too with ExpressVPN. You can use ExpressVPN to unlock movies and shows that are only available in other countries, and you don't need to even fake an accent. ExpressVPN lets you change your online location so you can control where you want sites to think you're located. You just open the app, you select a location, tap one button to connect, and then refresh the page to access thousands of new shows and movies. Choose from almost 100 different countries. Watch Doctor Who on UK Netflix or anime on Japanese Netflix. And it's not just Netflix, folks. This works with any streaming service. Hulu, BBC iPlayer, YouTube. Stream in HD with no buffering or lag. It's compatible with phones, laptops, smart TVs, and all your other devices. Not only does it let you change your location, it also encrypts your data, so it lets you surf the web safely and anonymously, as we all should be able to do. Go to expressvpn.com/rogue to get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. expressvpn.com/rogue.
Imagine what Tommy would do with all that privacy.
I know. And lastly, our good friends at Blue Chew. This episode was also sponsored by Blue Chew. Guys, you remember those days when you were always ready to go? Now you can get back that extra confidence in bed from our friends at BlueChew.com. That's blue like the color blue. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can be ready whenever an opportunity arises. Blue Chew is prescribed online by licensed physicians, so you don't have to go to the doctor's office or wait in line at the pharmacy, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package. But as we know from Tommy, he doesn't want to be discreet. He wants it to howl like one of those Harry Potter howler messages. Tommy needs a boner! Thanks, Blue Chew! So, Blue Chew is made in the USA, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they are cheaper than a pharmacy, and no awkwardness, no leaving the house, no little snickering from the pharmacist when they pass you those pills. Right now, we've got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free when you use our special promo code ROGUE. Just pay $5 shipping. Again, that's BLUE Chew.com, promo code ROGUE to try it for free. Blue Chew is a better, cheaper choice. And remember, when you support our sponsors, you help make this show possible. So please be sure to use our promo code ROGUE at BlueChew.com. Get a boner and keep us alive for another month.
I know that's where I go to get my boner.
Right? It's the best. It is the best.
You love a bargain and you love a
Yeah,
boner.
yeah,
It's a great intersection of those things.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got to move on. I've been curious to talk about this topic with a bunch of nerds. You guys seem like the perfect panel to do this with, because I think we should move beyond the MCU to talk about some cinematic universes that should exist. Of course, we also have the Star Wars universe, the canon of which seems to change on a dime every episode of The Mandalorian. There's the DCEU, which I don't think ever had continuity to begin with. The Harry Potter universe that keeps changing McGonagall's age and birth year, or just says she's always been alive. That'd be a fun theory. There's the wonderful Dark universe starring Tom Cruise in The Mummy that lasted one whole movie.
Yep. I saw that. I paid money to see that.
So did I. And let me tell you, I was like, so they're going to make a Dr. Jekyll movie?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if this is.
Yeah.
But everyone's trying to cash in on this, and now we're starting to see some fun, crazy ideas for cinematic universes. There's been some talk of like a Hanna-Barbera film universe. There's last year's Scoob. Pretty good movie.
Yeah.
They're possibly in a universe with like Yogi Bear or Huckleberry Hound. The Sonic director, I paid money to see that one. Marina and I did a big question about how he is killing everything he passes.
Yeah, it's so sad.
The Sonic director wanted to expand the cinematic universe of Sonic, and it seems like there's going to be a sequel that's going to feature Knuckles and Tails. There have even been calls, folks, I believe on this channel, some guests have said they want to see a Nintendo cinematic universe. We do have Pokemon, Detective Pikachu, and Pokemon is one of the most valuable, profitable brands in the world history. Yeah. So, let's get with it.
I heard about this Nintendo one too, and it might have been on like a viral tweet storm or something, or someone put together a really interesting version of it. And I remember the like Endgame was a Smash Brothers movie, which I thought was really interesting. Like that is kind of what they have set up in the universe. And I think Nintendo would work.
This is going to be like when Twitter came up with the idea for Ocean's 8. Like they were like, we should have Rihanna be a hacker and Sandra Bullock be the mastermind, and the internet came up with it, and then studios were like, okay, and then they did it.
The studios are like, wait, we're doing the calculations. That might work.
Yeah. We don't pay you for your idea, and we make $1 kajillion. Yes.
Right. Yep.
I know Nintendo's really precious with their IP after the like Mario movies and stuff, but I think it'd be a fun swing to see like a Zelda movie and a Mario movie and all this stuff, and then it ends up in some team up. I think that could be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Are there other new CUs that you guys think we deserve and are entitled to?
So I have been saying forever there should be a rom-com cinematic universe.
What?
Where, and I don't know what movies go in it, but like, imagine you see like you kind of do it like the Split movie, you like the Shyamalan verse. You don't know they're connected, but it's like, imagine 3 rom-coms, and at the end of the third one, they're like, the side character from the first one is marrying a side character from the second one. Wedding movie. And it's like big like team up wedding movie. And I've always been like this. I know it's like a joke, but I'm like, people like rom-coms, and then I would just watch it for Easter. For just watching Erik Voss break down a rom-com universe would be very fun
totally
to
break
me.
that down. You know, it's already ready to do. You have Love Actually, which is like 8 movies.
Yeah.
All you have to do is find one of those characters with one of the 10 storylines of like New Year's Eve, and then just
or like Jennifer Lopez's The Wedding Planner is also somehow woven in, and
with my best friend's
I've
wedding.
always thought that would be great. And you know what? A lot of these cinematic universes, we're playing to the boys. You know what? And it's time
That's right.
to play to the ladies with a
Thank you, Shaun.
cinematic universe. So
that's right.
I mean, Bravo and E have already been doing this with like the Desperate House or with the Real Housewives universe of like spin-offs. They get, just just make this into a movie and you'll have a whole universe of real people.
I just think you have weddings and funerals and all sorts of team ups to do.
Well, I love it too because, like,
That's great.
obviously there's some actors that have made so many rom-coms, like your Jennifer Lopez's or Reese Witherspoon's or whoever, and like they have to pick which of their characters exists in the same like New York. Like she can't be both Made in Manhattan and the wedding planner. And
but here's the thing,
Outside or
Zach.
whatever.
I don't know if you know, but after the incident, there is a rom-com multiverse. So Jennifer Lopez can exist in multiple timelines.
Who's the actress from 10 Things I Hate About You?
Julia Stiles?
So Julia Stiles is the girl from 10 Things I Hate About You, but she's also the girl from Step Up. Or no, Save the Last Dance.
Save the Last Dance. Yes, of course she is. Because she already was in our minds.
Yeah.
So combine those.
And also the Bourne Identity or whatever Jason Bourne movie she's in.
Yeah. Well, and I think Matthew McConaughey would exist in all these, but he's just glued to a wall that he's leaning on.
He's Watu the Watcher, and he's like, I see all these romantic stories come and go.
And then I love it building to an Avengers style thing where it's like Meg Ryan, Kate Hudson,
Tommy,
you know.
Could you imagine though? I mean, I actually I have been in a meeting and been like rom-com cinematic universe and almost been laughed out of the meeting. But I do think like if you had a version of Endgame that was like, it's just gonna be like First Wives Club with 50 of your favorite. I don't know.
Yeah.
First Wives Club is great. And that shit
holds up. It does. It holds up.
It holds
Things have
up.
changed on this channel now because we're only talking rom-com.
It's so good. It's still funny. That shit is still funny.
Well, rom-com's like the one genre that's not really connected to each other because horror, like, I mean, Freddy versus Jason, Alien versus Predator, those characters pop up in each other's movies all the time.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes. It would be fun to see. Honestly, I feel like you could do more of that in the horror genre. Like I thought Freddy versus Jason and those kind of things, like Predator, Alien versus Predator, are really fun. Like,
well, since you brought it up, I did not invent this. This was created by the interwebs. But if Blade and Twilight ever mixed, then you would just see Blade eviscerate all the vampires from the Twilight series, and it would be so satisfying because he would use profanity.
Yeah.
And he would just go into high schools. Like the high school would be going on and he would just break into a high school in the middle of class and cut off Edward Cullen's head. And you would be rooting for him because he would be right.
I love that. Marina, he should be going to high school. It should be a teenage Blade. And his story, he's like figuring out his Daywalker abilities at the same time, having to kill the Twilight.
Oh, it's so good.
That would be really, really fun.
I mean, all vampires and slayers should be connected in cinematic universe of their own. We should see True Blood.
They already have the same rules.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so great.
I had a very different idea for this, Erik. I love both of those ideas, but like I was thinking about like maybe like a standalone movie that you would not expect to be part of an expanded universe.
Okay.
So there was, of course, the 90s classic Space Jam. Oh. We are getting a remake, a soft reboot, a whatever starring LeBron James. I think it's supposed to come out later this year, next year.
If you will.
But I want a universe, okay? Because like you can give me that format, X real human athlete versus a monster or an alien. I will take that all day, every day. I want to see like the New York Jets have to fight their way out of a space prison, right? Or I want to see like, you know, the U.S. women's national soccer team have to like kick the heads off of 1,000 aliens or something like that. Like,
is one of them
Daffy Duck has to coach? He has to coach Daffy Duck becomes like Ted Lasso, and he has to coach a British soccer team.
Yeah,
that is so fun.
One of them is Air Bud, though, and the main character is a
the
dog.
Looney Tunes aspect of it. But really, like, with Looney Tunes and, like, all real human professional athletes, you have two universes colliding, and then you also add in, like, aliens or monsters or something like that.
Yeah,
and then you do the Olympics as the big team-up movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Built in.
Dude, I would watch that.
Oh, that is great.
I think the only cinematic universe that I have in my brain that I really want to exist is the SNL Cinematic Universe. And if they did like a Wayne's World, like Wayne Stock 30-year reunion with like the Roxbury guys are there and the Blues Brothers are there and everybody's there. But then you find out that Wayne and Garth are actually evil. And the person coming to take them down in the parking lot is MacGruber himself. In MacGruber versus Wayne's World, which I think would be really fun. And then post-credit scene, after they've defeated Wayne and Garth, you cut up to space and into a spaceship to a conehead who says, "I'll do it myself." And then he's the Thanos of the SNL Cinematic Universe. You got to get all the characters from SNL. You get Astronaut Jones. You get all your favorites, and then you bring them into the world to defeat the Coneheads. That is the Cinematic Universe I want.
I was on the fence, Sean. I'm not gonna lie. I was on the fence until you said Coneheads, and then I was like, yes,
on board.
You got to remember that's the Easter
I'm
egg.
in. Sean has also pitched this exact thing at a meeting. As well.
And then these meetings don't go that well.
Yeah, Peacock is like, no, we'd prefer a less interesting aspect. Not worth your money.
Yeah.
Peacock cannot afford to be turning down ideas.
Come on.
Okay, they need this kind of content.
They need Sean. They need Sean.
All right, my little fishy gummies are coming back. Sean, you're getting a yellow seahorse for your SNL CU. Zach, though, for bringing back the Monstars. It has taken too long for a Space Jam reboot or sequel. We need one of those every year. Whoever the MVP of that Super Bowl is should have to contractually be in a Space Jam.
You get the Madden cover and you get to do a Space Jam reboot.
Yeah.
So you get a clownfish for that, Zach.
Yes.
It's still anyone's game because we are moving on to our final rogue question, where it is anyone's game to come up with the craziest answer to this. At select Pizza Hut locations, they are celebrating the 25th anniversary of the stuffed crust pizza by giving away stuffed crust, but with no pizza. So the question
is,
just
a ring. It's just a ring of crust.
It's just a ring.
Oh my God! Wait, really?
Yeah, it's just a stuffed ring of crust with nothing in the middle.
Yeah, that is crazy.
So a question.
Wait, that's real?
It's a real thing. You get your hula hoop of crust and cheese. That's what they're giving away. But you got to pay for the pizza. All right. So what is a part of a food, just a part of a food that you would like to be served on its own?
Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
I have an idea.
Yeah.
This is not going to be popular, I don't think. But
Neither
this
is mine.
is what I want. I love two things in my food. I love fruit and I love texture. And you know what part of a fruit has great texture? The peel.
Oh my God, Zach!
Just an apple peel.
Zach.
Just like the long, windy apple peel. I don't need any of the meat of the apple. Just give me that peel.
No meat of the apple.
You were right. We were not going to be on board.
Yeah, pass on that.
Zach, I feel like would be a very good. You know, back in the 30s when guys used to like have sticks and they'd tie a bindle on the end and they would like live on the train track. Yeah, but like, like you would be like a very efficient and resilient. Like be like, pass me that.
All I do is sit on the train and eat the outsides of an apple.
Yeah.
I call them the outsides.
You throwing away that orange rind? Give it here.
And they
I think
call
for
him,
me,
Peely Zach. Oh,
yeah.
Hey, Peely
Oh,
Zach.
Peely Pete.
You guys peeling any foods? Because I will eat it. That's not a bad. That should be an SNL game.
That's so funny.
I think the food The food that I would serve on its own is also kind of gross, but just maybe like fried chicken skin.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fucking
As a
good
kid, like I would just
idea.
peel
No,
that
that's
skin off
good.
and just eat it, you know?
That's good.
Give me a bowl of fried chicken skin.
John, do you want to know?
like a bag of chips, but every chip is just like a little piece. Oh,
Just called
I would
skin.
eat that. Shaun, do you know that this is real? In Texas, they're at a county fair of some kind. There's a thing called fried, and this is real, where they collect like the pieces of fried chicken skin, fried whatever that fall off, or like there's always stuff that falls off.
Mm-hmm.
They take all of that from all the different things that were fried, and they put it in a ball, and then they deep fry that, and then they serve it to people.
I love
The
it.
like drippings from the bottom of a fry.
You can deep fry. It's called deep fried, and I can't believe that it exists, but it probably tastes so good.
Oh, I'm sure it's
Love
great.
it.
It's great.
They wouldn't do it if it didn't taste good.
Yeah. Mine's also going to be pretty unpopular, but anybody who like even sometimes follows me on Twitter knows that I hate the trend of like when you make a cupcake, you put like twice the frosting to the ratio of cupcake, and it doesn't make any sense to me. So just knock off the frosting and give me a piece of cake. I will eat dry ass cake.
Wow.
So
I would
normally
rather
you hear the opposite,
Yeah,
right?
you're
Like they want the
reverse
tops of
top.
those.
Yeah.
No, because there's too much. I don't like it. And I would rather eat dry ass cake than be served too much goddamn frosting.
Whoa, Marina is fired up. You just want cupcake bottom.
Yeah. This is the hill I die on.
Cupcake Bottom is another hobo. He's hanging out with Peely's ass.
Anybody got any bottoms? I'll eat any.
You in the bottom of that bread?
Preferably cupcake, but I'll go anywhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want Cupcake Bottom and Peely Zach to fall in love.
They'd survive anything. Survive any relationship quarrels and any apocalypse or
This is how you get the rom-com cinematic
Yes.
universe
Hey,
going. You get
there we
these funny
go.
characters to get married, and now we're all going.
yeah.
Back around. Well, for making that third beat connection there, Shaun, and honestly for skins,
beat.
for deep fried skins, that would be the one I would
Yeah,
want.
that's good.
You get another yummy, making you the winner of this week's and the season premiere of
Shaun!
Rockstars.
Now, to have won a conversation feels,
Feels good, doesn't it?
you know,
Well, to those of us who have mostly lost.
it's an honor, guys. It's such a pleasure to be here. I'm such a huge fan of New Rockstars, so to even be chopping it up with you guys is
It's
so fun.
been
So
totally our pleasure. And to all
Yeah.
of our guests, to Shaun, of course, to Zach, to Marina, thank you for joining us this week on Rogue Theory. I love seeing I missed you guys all break. It's so nice to be back. And I'm really excited for what's to come on this show. We actually have stuff to talk about in 2021.
Yeah.
We don't have to be like, oh, we heard a rumor Shia LaBeouf's going to be playing a rock in WandaVision, so here's 4 theories on it. None of that anymore. Well, thank you to all of you for watching. You can support our channel by checking out one of our many great merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com. You can follow all 3 of our hosts on their respective social media platforms. You can follow me at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars. Subscribe here on YouTube. And if you aren't already, subscribe to the Rogue Theory podcast feed as well. Give us a nice rating and review if you don't mind. It really does help. And we will see you next week. Happy New Year, everyone. See you next time.
Happy New Year! Yay!
Bye.